Hey everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're having another glorious Monday morning. Today we have a special guest with us once again, Mr. Ryan Poole, coming to us from all the way over in Dayton, Ohio. Now, Ryan's a little bit of a special case in that he has some experience being both the on-camera talent and also being like a technical director and directing a live broadcast as well. Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself here?
So I started off back in high school producing short little documentaries for my high school video class. Really fell in love with the art. My parents kind of wanted to scare me away from it at first, and so they got me on as a background extra on a lot of movies that came to the area and not the area. We drove over 8 hours sometimes for some background extra work. And that was just basically to see if I would like the on-set experience of working on a movie set, just because of the crazy hours that those have. That led me to then going to college to study film production, which working on behind the sets, which is what I preferred rather than being in front of the camera. So while I was at Wright State, I landed a job at VTS Productions, which was broadcasting the school's sports teams to ESPN, whether that was baseball, basketball, volleyball, soccer, anything else. And that got me a lot of live production experiences. I really fell in love with live production compared to working on film sets. It was more stabler hours. It wasn't a crazy 13, 14-hour workday, which was fun. I loved the adrenaline of that, but it was more manageable. You could schedule your days around a lot easier and have more of a life. So after I would do a sports broadcast, I really enjoyed playing video games. And so I would come home, play video games for who knows how much longer in the night, and just had so many funny experiences and funny moments playing with friends and everyone else that I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna start streaming. And so I would go home from working a broadcast in sports to broadcasting myself playing video games.
Now, Ryan, you've continued this trend even after leaving Wright State, haven't you? You're currently doing more of the same, more or less. You're doing live broadcast in more of a full-time capacity compared to what you're doing at Wright State.
My job at Wright State actually led me into working at many other locations, whether that's for a college university broadcasting their sports games or a minor league baseball team controlling the LED graphics. But it also led me to my full time job, and that is producing video and social media and internal video content for a school district. There, we produce, again, social media or internal videos, and we also control all of the live streams, whether that's for the board meetings, for any of the sports events that happen, any press conferences or anything. So it really prepared me and got me ready for broadcasting in a professional environment and being able to relay the information that I know to the student crew that we have. So that way, one day, if they want to pursue live production, they have the knowledge and are well equipped to be able to work in the industry.
That's really fantastic. We got sort of a similar treatment at Wright State where we were able to learn from these guys who have been doing it for much longer than we have and pick up the skills. Is there something special about being able to kind of pass those skills on to the next generation that drew you in to working in a school district?
It definitely has a great feeling that comes with it. I learned so much from my job at Wright State in comparison to all my classes for film and production. And to be able to relay that information to students and them get a handle and get used to, how it actually works in industry compared to like any of the videos they might do in their classes, it definitely is great to see them come along and figure out what they need to do in production wise.
So it's really special just being able to pass on that hands-on knowledge that you really can't get in a classroom environment.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
All right. I wasn't planning on hitting this topic yet, and this might be a little bit of a hard-hitting question, but you sort of gave me a nice segue in. You said that you learned more from being on the job than your education at Wright State. Do you still think that the education that you received was kind of a valuable experience and helped you get where you are now?
So my education at Wright State was great. Uh, It didn't prepare me for the film industry, so to say. A lot of the stuff that we were taught were industry standards. And I had already worked on a lot of actual production sets. After my freshman year, I was actually working on crew. Since I had been working on background, I knew a lot of the crew. I got in on the crew sets. And what they were teaching us in college of industry standard were not industry standard. The main reason why I stuck out the program and stuck out the school in general was because of my job. They taught me so much experiences, knowledge, uh, how to cut a live broadcast, everything there is to know about live production, and pretty much working with computers and editing and yada, yada, yada. I learned from my job in comparison to school. School was about being very artsy or being very political. And I didn't want to be either of those two with any of my productions. If I wanted to tell a story, I wanted to tell a heartfelt story or a documentary on something that doesn't have to be political and doesn't have to be artsy. And so I kind of fell through the program towards the end. I was just kind of like, all right, I'm ready to get this over with. I'd rather go to work on my job. There are some classes I missed just so I could work on a job. My thought behind it is I'm getting more experience, more knowledge, and everything from my job than I am sitting in my class as they discuss politics for 45 minutes.
So you got me kind of curious here. You said that the industry standards that we were being taught weren't really industry standards as far as you knew or as far as you could see from your own experience. Can you give us any examples of that?
I don't even remember. I blocked that out of my head right then. I was like, all the sets I've been on, nobody said that, nobody's done that, nobody's had that, and I can't remember what it was. Like, like a light wrench.
I knew you were going to say that. Have not used that thing once. I got suckered on it. Do you think your time at Wright State would have been more beneficial to you if you had chosen a different kind of education track? It seems like you skew very heavily towards this live broadcast side, which the film production aspects aren't really as relevant towards. I mean, some things will carry over, but broadcast really is its own beast here. Do you think that had any play in your time there?
I don't believe so. I know communications had a broadcasting track, or at least they used to. I don't know if they still do or did when you and I attended. I so going into college, I did not want to do live production, and that was one of the first things when I accepted my job with the production. I was like, I don't want to get too much into this because this is not what I want to get into. I want to work on movie sets and be a crew, eventually be a director photographer in movies. And by the end of year one, I was just sold. I was like, this is a lot better. Even though after year one I worked on a lot of movie sets, just I I was really sold into the industry. I got asked to work for the minor league team, and then that put my foot in the door there. And then I got asked to work at a college university for their basketball games. That got my foot in there. Then at a casino, and then now my job now. It's led me to more opportunities than film production did, and especially is I'm thankful for because of COVID. I was at least able to keep my job in comparison to all of the crew members that I had friends with on Facebook who, I mean, not to say that I wasn't struggling, but they were struggling way off more than I was to find any source of income throughout this entire thing. And I thankfully had my stable job and had like a stable income to be able to pay all my bills.
So to kind of end this segment on a little bit more of a high note, then, do you think that you would have had the same opportunities you do today if you had not been able to attend film school?
I definitely don't think I'd had the same opportunities that I have today. I honestly don't know if I would have searched or even applied for the job that I did if I wasn't originally wanting to be in film production or wanted to stay with it. And me being able to stick it out, and I won't say suffer through, because it wasn't suffering. I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed everyone that I had class with and all my friends there. Um, but it definitely opened my eyes to other things that I would definitely want to get into in comparison to just working on movie sets. That's not to say I don't want to work on movie sets. I actually do. I actually thought about working on some once COVID started to ease up and some sets were starting to open. I was like, okay, maybe on the weekend I can day play on a few sets, or maybe during the week if they're short on somebody and a few people that I know need somebody for locations or anything like that, then I will join on and be able to help them out for a day. I still want to do that, but me going through the film program, I'm glad at least I got the opportunities that I did. It definitely opened up the doors to all the networking it has, and everything that's opened up ever since.
That's good. And I honestly didn't plan for this segment to go this way, but I'm kind of glad it did. We hit some deeper, harder questions here than I really was anticipating. But following the trend of what we've been talking about here and trying to end kind of on a positive note, do you have any message to any first year film school students, not necessarily at our alma mater, but first year students anywhere? What do you have to kind of push them forward and onward?
I would definitely want to say keep grinding. It can be rough sometimes. The programs that you could be going through can be tough, but keep working through it. You can do it. If there's a story you want to make it. Take constructive criticism well. Sometimes you have a story you might want to make and it could be torn apart. Take that constructive criticism in a positive manner and craft that into a story that could be well, but definitely don't change your vision. Keep your vision true. And again, as I said before, keep grinding. You got this.
All right, and I think that's going to wrap it up for us here. Again, thank you so much for your time, Ryan. I really appreciate it. So, all of you out there, keep on grinding. Hope you have a marvelous rest of your Monday, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye now.